Hello and welcome to episode number 334. This is the Project Management Podcast at pm-podcast.com, and I'm Cornelius Fichtner. If you're listening to this interview, then you are one of our premium subscribers. Thank you so much for your financial support of the Project Management Podcast. I really do appreciate it. Do you feel stuck in your project management career? Or maybe you know that you need to do something to advance, but there are just so many other things competing for your attention that you just have no time? Dr. Imad Rahim has a few ideas for you that will most certainly help you out. This is not only about making a career plan and getting certified, but it's also about making sure that people in your industry, and more importantly, the senior executives at your place of work, actually notice you and the value that you provide so that you can walk the project manager career path. And now let's take the first step together. Enjoy the interview.
The Project Management Podcasts feature interview.
Today with Dr. Imad Rahim, appointed Endowed Entrepreneur in Residence for Oklahoma State University and visiting scholar at Rutgers University.
Imad, welcome back to the Project Management Podcast.
Well, thank you for having me back. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderfully well, thank you. Sun is shining here in Southern California, which is normal, of course. Yeah. So we want to talk about advancing project management careers, looking at the key steps here. Most of our listeners, they are active project managers. They have a job, they have day-to-day projects that they are running. Why should they be thinking about this? What is it going to be that we're going to help them with today?
Well, I am speaking to those people that aspire to climb that ladder of leadership, right? So if you're happy with what you're doing, if you're satisfied with what you're doing, if you just want to contribute as a team leader, or if you are happy with being a mid-level project manager, that's fine, right? That's perfectly fine. We're speaking on the subject of career advancement. So if you are looking to take that extra step in becoming a portfolio manager, a program manager, or you want to be a senior level project manager because you want more responsibility, you want the opportunity to do something different, and obviously get paid a little more. So that's what we're talking about here. It's really that career advancement opportunity to really showcase what you can do and what you aspire to do, and also pursue greatness.
All right, perfect lead into my first question here for you, because I know a lot of project managers, juniors often, and also just project team members not yet in project management functions there. They would like to advance their career, feeling somehow stuck. What is the first thing that you would recommend that anyone in the project management field can do right away to help them get noticed?
Well, helping you get noticed, one is making sure that you are constantly educating yourself on what's happening in that industry, becoming fully aware of what's happening, in the field of project management or in the specialization that you are focusing on in your department. So this way you could speak from a well-educated person in that field, right? So when a problem happens, people know to come to you. When a situation arises, people know to come to you because you can speak from expertise. So the first thing is always being updated on what's happening in the industry, what's happening in your field. Another thing is getting trained, right? I know a lot of people that want career advancement, and I ask them, well, how long have you been doing this? And they would say, I've been doing this 15 years, right? But they have never gotten any professional development, right? So they've been doing it for 15 years, but they have not done it any differently, right? They have not gotten any of the training. They're not aware of any new methodologies that are out there. They're not aware of any new software that's out there, right? So it's important to continue your professional development. Always update, on training and being well versed on what's happening in industry by constantly educating yourself, reading on what's happening, trade magazines, attending conferences, attending social network gatherings in that discipline.
Quick disclaimer here before my next question, because I'm a professional PMP trainer and PMI ACP trainer. While we're talking here about training and certifications, earning additional certifications, attending trainings makes a lot of sense to me personally. How do you choose? There are so many types of certifications and programs out there, and there's not just Cornelius who teaches other people as well. You, other universities, what do you do?
That's a great point. You're right. There are thousands of certifications and licenses out there now in the project management field and manufacturing industry and so forth. It's important to really understand what your company is looking for. So if you aspire to stay in your company and make that career advancement in your company, then figure out exactly what your company is looking for, right? Or what they should look for. So if you know that there's an opportunity for your company to improve if they go to Lean Sigma, for example, and you know that the executives are aware of Lean Sigma and going towards it, then that may be an area you want to specialize in. That may be a certification you want to pursue, that Six Sigma, that Lean Sigma. Or it could be that you work in an IT company and you know that Agile or Scrum or Waterfall should be integrated. Right? That's something that your team should be doing, should be certified in. Well, that may be a great opportunity for you to pursue those certifications. But if you're looking to leave your company, if you're looking to change in the industry that you work in, it's important to do research on that industry, right? So Scrum may be something great in your company, but another company, they may not have any interest in it, right? They're focusing on some brand new methodology that they follow from Prince or some type of CompTIA certification that's out there. So just do your homework, but definitely don't be a jack of all trades and certifications. I've seen resumes, and you've probably seen this too, where someone's resume has tons of certifications, but they don't seem to specialize in anything. They don't seem to have enough experience in doing one thing because they pretty much have a lot of book knowledge to prepare for these certifications. You don't want that.
Yeah, I agree. I recently did 2 interviews of students of mine who passed the PMP exam. One of them had 11 certifications, the other one 13.
Wow.
So yeah, they're the letters after the name longer than their name itself. What I also recommend to many people who ask me exactly this question, which certification is right for me, I also tell them to take into account regional aspects. For example, if you are in the US, getting the project management professional, the PMP certification may be the right way for you to go. However, if you live in England or in the Commonwealth, maybe Prince 2 is better for you because Prince 2 is bigger and stronger in there. And so it's a question not just of what you want, but what do the employers expect that you have? And to me, this is often best discussed in person. So just going on a LinkedIn and saying, hey, my name is so-and-so, what certification should I get? Do it differently. Go out and speak to people at a local project management organization meeting. Get to know these people locally. Find out what certifications they have in your area and what they recommend. Because oftentimes people who are involved in the organizations locally of project managers, they know what the industry here in our region is looking for, and they can give you really targeted and in-depth recommendations on this here.
That's a great recommendation right there. And that information is so much more accessible than it is a few years ago. And people are so much more accessible and wanting to help and wanting to provide guidance and mentorship. So reaching out to people and doing that research, because, for example, you can go to a company right now and look up the people that are working there, and you can notice that if there's a good amount of people that may have the PMP certification. Well, based on that, it may be a good idea to get the PMP certification if you want to work for that company.
You yourself, you are affiliated with the Oklahoma State University. How about instead of just going for a certification? What about a degree? What about a master's or a bachelor's in project management? What's the value in getting a college degree for a project manager?
Well, so here's the thing, right? So we know that certification is really it's a balancing act between theory and principle, right, and practice. But it's more about book knowledge also, right? So you can so some of these certifications, and I'm not going to point at any particular certification, but you could spend a lot of time studying and you could pass that certification. But when it comes to your degree, it requires a lot of hours, right? A lot of hours of studying, a lot of hours of application, a lot of hours of presentation, a lot of hours of experience. So education helps create both the foundations that you need to be a project manager, but also be equipped to tackle complex projects because you're well versed on what's happening in industry. You have read a lot of information, but you have also experienced a good amount of project management related problems, internships that you have been a part of and things like that, and also the different networks that you have obtained. So education is still very important, and there are a lot of companies that will not allow you to advance your career in within that department, within that business unit, unless you have that degree. So you can have a certification, and that's what got you the job. But in order to advance your opportunity in that company with the industry, they may want a degree, they may want a bachelor's, they may want an MBA, they may want a master's in project management. So having that degree will allow you to advance that opportunity within the company, but also it allows you to speak the language that everybody else is speaking in that level of business, right? So people that get an MBA, for example, they speak an entirely different language, right? They speak economics, they speak finance, they speak accounting, they speak statistics because they have spent a great deal learning about that, right? So within project management, it's very similar to that. Getting a degree in project management will also prepare you to speak that language with confidence.
How do you personally help your own students advance their project management career?
Well, really providing that guidance and that mentorship as an educator, as a program chair, it's my job, as I mentioned before, to equip them with the education, the knowledge, the resources to prepare them for a job in project management. But it's also my job to provide guidance, right? Help them make the right career decision. So much of it is really giving them the resources, but also guiding them into the right direction. So my students may come back to me and say, "I've been doing this job for a while and I feel stuck," right? And I would say, "Well, let's talk about that, right? Why do you think you feel stuck? And how are people in your company advancing? Maybe they're doing something that you should do, that you should be looking into, right?" So my job as an educator is to really go beyond just the teacher and student relationship within the field of project management, but to also coach them and mentor them, right, to help them make the right career decision.
All right, let's say I have achieved getting that new certification or I've earned my graduate degree. What's next? I mean, I can go ahead and I can take the piece of paper I received, I can, put it in a nice frame and hang it up in my office. But how do I really get noticed in my company or by people in my industry?
You know, so a while back, you and I talked about thought leadership, right? So this kind of piggybacks on a previous conversation on thought leadership, is that this is a great opportunity for you to showcase what you have learned, right? So maybe this is a great opportunity for you to blog about it, to write a white paper, to create some type of report to show your company how this certification, how this education brings value to the company. So for example, let's say you notice that the company has been experiencing some type of problem, right? Write a case study about it or write a report, an internal report, analyze that problem, and then show them how the new knowledge and education and skills that you have obtained through your education or through your certification is equipped to tackle that problem, right? That you now have a solution, that you are now a solution for that problem. And I've worked on various projects where people have done that, where someone came in and got the new Agile certification or the new Scrum certification, and they completed an internal analysis on how projects are being managed, and they can show the sponsor that Scrum is a better option, and they have the Scrum certification, so they are equipped to lead it, right? So that's a great way to be proactive and showcase how your education, how your certification will benefit the company.
Wonderful. Those are great PR marketing examples, but how can a new project manager showcase their talent? Let's say I'm trying to show value or get additional experience outside of what I normally do, maybe even outside of my organization. What would you suggest?
Volunteering. I volunteer a lot, and you probably do the same thing. And most of my colleagues volunteer a lot, and we volunteer to really improve on our experience, on our awareness, on our skills, because sometimes doing certain type of jobs for a very long time really prevents us from thinking outside the box, right? We become kind of stuck in that perspective, in that way of thinking. But volunteering for a community project or working on a PMI chapter event and things like that helps us to get unstuck, right? And then also allows us to showcase to a new group of people what we bring to the table, what we can do, what we can provide. And you never know who's going to be on your team. You never know who's going to see the value you bring to the table. And that person may be the key to your career advancement, right? So that person that you volunteer for can see how great of a job you can do on this type of project that you could have never done in your company, right? So sometimes stepping outside your comfort zone, volunteering, working on other projects outside of your company allows you to showcase those skills in a different light.
And I can support that fully. The last job that I got, I received because I was volunteering for the local PMI chapter. And to become my boss later on, she liked me. She liked what she saw. She got to know me as a volunteer. She saw that I was delivering valuable and good work for the local PMI chapter. And within 3 months, she offered me a job.
That's
very powerful to volunteer. Right. Okay. Excellent ideas, excellent suggestions. I hope really that we have motivated many of our listeners today to really, stand up and say, yes, I want to advance my career in project management. But now they're motivated, but they don't know where to go. So let's help them a little bit here. In closing, Imad, what are some of the steps that you would recommend? What can they do right now? They have the motivation. They want to advance their career. What are the things to do?
Well, the first step is to develop some type of career advancement strategy, right? If you're a project manager, you're used to planning, so that's nothing new. So start planning how you will obtain that career advancement. Put it in writing, right? So then you can also make a promise to execute on these items, right? And then figure out exactly how, when, and what steps you need to take in order to make that career advancement. So put that in writing, create a strategy. The next piece is do some research. And when I mean research, I'm not saying, read a bunch of journals and articles and things like that, but look at what's trending out there. Project management has changed dramatically. It's more global, it's more virtual, it's changed in the last few years. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to advance your career in a different light and probably something that you would never consider. Right? So do some research, go online, go to LinkedIn, see the opportunities that exist, see what people are talking about, and try to engage in that conversation. Try to put yourself in that conversation so people can come to recognize you as a thought leader on that topic. And you never know where that opportunity takes you. So those are my 2 tips.
Wonderful guidance. Imad, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And that was our interview with Dr. Imad Rahim and his recommendations for advancing your career as a project manager. That's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. As always, please find us on the web at pm-podcast.com and do send your emails to info@pm-podcast.com. And of course, when you write, tell me where in the world you are writing from. And finally, we have this. An adventure is just bad planning. Until next time.